Every good conversation starts with a good listener. And we have a whole room of good listeners here at Toastmasters. Madam, Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters, isn't the art of conversation relegated to a secondary level with all the digital invasion we have today? How many of you would agree to that? So here I am to reinvent this very famous book title, What Do You Say After You Say Hello? There are lots of us who still wonder, what should I say, to overcome this awkward moment. A conversation opener is always a tough challenge for many. And it's one of the most important things to do or say in any situation. Do I want to ask a girl out on a date? How do I say it? What would be the right thing to say? How would I make that killer impression at my workplace? Or even, what would I say on my first day at college? How would I approach somebody and make conversation? So these are 100 questions and situations where each one of us find ourselves, maybe at a party, maybe at the workplace, maybe in Toastmasters, anywhere at all. So I understand that the art of conversation is equivalent to a rocket launch. Whenever a rocket is going to be launched, there's a kind of a preparation for the launching sequence that takes place, where there is an elaborate planning that goes into what and how you can launch this rocket. Now, art of conversation is quite like a rocket launch. You have to build up what I call a rapport sequence. How do you build rapport even before you say the first word in a conversation? So I think the best way to do it is smile. And you would most often smile at the one person who's already having a beginning of a smile. And so you say, okay, this is the person that I would make the conversation opening with. So that's the perfect accessory that you would start off with. Now, I'm sure all of you have had a lot of things that have told you what are the right things to do in any kind of an opening conversation. I personally believe it's like this conversing with strangers most often is like a sampling of a buffet. You go and try a little of everything and you don't have the taste of anything much at the end of the day, especially in the modern day weddings that you have. You want to try it all before you actually settle down. So this art of conversation is much like that. So what would you typically do in a situation like this? What is the kind of opening? So people have told you that, but I'm going to tell you what not to do. Okay? The typical conversation bloopers. Now, even if you've known somebody for a long time, the things that you don't definitely say is, my God, you put on so much weight after the last time I saw you. And to a person who's been working out at the gym like Amog, for example. Okay? Equally bad is to go tell somebody that lost so much weight since the last time I saw you. Because this girl's been working so much and eating all the right things to put on that extra weight that she has. Or to someone like me, you would go and say, last time I saw you, I mean, you were not this grey, right? Yeah. So these are definitely negative tones that you want to completely avoid. It's an absolute no-no. Now, what are the other things you would do, for example? Now, the thing that you don't do in any kind of a conversation is don't rehearse your conversation, right? It's very, like, say, these guys I know that kind of go through those cheesy lines, date lines, to say, how do I make that first proposal to this guy? How do I ask this girl out? So one of the cheesiest lines I've come across is like, go up to a girl and say, do you have a map? I seem to be lost in your eyes. So you don't want to really do this. So I suggest you just go spontaneous and don't even pay her a compliment about her looks perhaps, but say something genuinely nice, complimenting a person definitely opens up so many more doors than any other conversation starter. So typically people say conversation openers, talk about the weather, talk about the traffic in Bangalore, that's a favorite topic for everybody. That's not what you want to do. They're boring. They're good, but they're boring. So typically you stick to safe, neutral topics, and I'll tell you how in terms of a role play that we will have soon. What are the other definitely no-nos to do in a conversation is do not intrude into another person's personal space. So when you make a conversation, you may know them a little well, a kind of a brief acquaintance, or you may know them a little better, but unless you're too sure, you don't want to intimidate someone by going too close. Even if it is the same gender, you don't want to breathe down their neck. So you want to maintain that kind of a comfortable space and zone where you will make a warm conversation. So this is something that you should do in terms of not intruding into a personal space of somebody else. So these are perhaps the three main things I would not do. No negative overtones, no rehearsed conversations, no intruding into someone's personal space. So then what else can you do? Typically talk slowly. Don't rush into a conversation. They say that questions are the life breath of any conversation. Now, there is an attender I have at my college. Every time I pass her by, which may be about 3 to 4 times a day, she will ask me the same question, Akka, kafi aita, tindi aita. These are the common things. So if it's 1 o'clock, it's uta aita, it's 10 o'clock, it's coffee aita. It's one of the famous conversation starters, don't you think, with everybody, because food is a good bonder. But you don't want, and there are some people who will ask questions ever so often. It's like you're bombarding people with questions. So we Indians don't mind too much about intruding into people's spaces, mental space or physical space. So I'm having a co-passenger on a train or a bus. I'll simply look at them and size them up and say, okay, so I can even ask things like, how old are you? Are you married? Will you be, are you traveling to your, is that person sitting next to you your boyfriend? I can ask anything. So I can intrude into their private space just like that with a snap of a finger. So this is not a quiz contest and definitely not something that you would want to answer to a stranger. So there are times that we spend long journeys on trains and planes, and you don't want to be causing this kind of a friction between the person sitting next to you. So talk slowly, don't get into the intimate space, keep yourself neutral and safe topics, and those are perfectly okay. So these are just basics. I'm sure most of us know this, but often we don't do this. So it's not always enough to just say. So let me just show you how a typical conversation plays out. So we are going to enact a small role play here, and this person is someone who's been at Toastmasters, but I don't know her too well. The typical scenario is both of us are part of a walking club at Lal Bagh, and I'm a local. She is visiting Bangalore and being part of this walking group. So let me invite my co-conversationalist, Ankita. So this is not rehearsed, this is just on the spot, spontaneous. Hi Ankita, this is Jayashree.
Hi, I'm Ankita.
I didn't know your name, sorry. So Ankita, that's a nice sounding name. So
Thank you.
how come this part of this walking group? Is this the first time that you're part of this?
Yeah, I'm actually from Calcutta.
Okay.
So this is the first time I've come to Bangalore, and I saw a place so green which is not really available in my city. So I decided to just walk inside and see what it is. And I came across this group of people walking. I just thought I'll ask somebody more about this place and where I can have a look at things.
You're traveling alone?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So how did you latch on to this walking group?
Not really latch onto it. I just saw them walking around the park, and I have a friend who stays in Bangalore who just mentioned this on call. So that maybe I'll come around and have a look and experience what really happens and how it works.
That's really nice. I don't often see young people like you taking walks like this, and I'm glad you did that. So is this your first time in Bangalore?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So what else have you been seeing around in Bangalore?
A lot of greenery, I suppose. Because where I come from, we always see concrete and old buildings that look like they're about to fall any minute. So, yeah, so that's what I saw, a lot of greenery here. And also, one more thing that impresses me about Bangalore is that it's pretty clean when compared to my city. And also, I visited the Bangalore Palace. And I've also been to Lal Bagh a couple of times with this walking group. And I've been attending some Toastmaster meetings. I'm a Toastmaster in Calcutta as well.
Oh wow, that's
So
nice.
I've been attending some meetings here.
Okay.
I still have to explore a lot of places. You could probably suggest me some.
Okay, it's good that we have some two common likes as it is as I see. So I've been walking in Lal Bagh for the last 20 years.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, I've been part of Toastmasters as well for a good 15 years. So we have a lot, lot in common. We must catch up. And in Lal Bagh, did you learn interesting facts about the trees? What did you really learn?
Oh yeah, actually saw this on Google. There's this one part of Lal Bagh which has got like a lot of old trees, like what 50, 100 years old. And there's some very interesting facts about these trees, as in I think they're very unique or exotic species, I suppose.
Yes, did you know that they really brought so many trees? Imagine the vision of those people of those days. They brought it from all over South America, Africa. There are trees of about 100 species and more. And a 400-acre campus, one of the best lung spaces in Bangalore. So you must really be enjoying this.
Does the working group go there, back to that part of Lal Bagh?
Yes, they will take you on all these tours.
I love
the
to
creepers, the
have
trees
it.
and all that. But and by the way, don't miss this MTR that is there right close by.
The filter coffee, I heard of.
Yes, and you
Yes.
must taste the masala dosa there. Don't miss that because that is. I'm sure this walking tour will stop off at the MTR, and you should tell me how it is. And by the way, let's exchange numbers because you know,
yeah,
as
sure.
Toastmasters, when I come to Kolkata, I'll definitely
Sure.
touch base with
I'll
you.
show you
and-
around in Kolkata.
Yeah, sure. I've never been to Calcutta, so that
You
must
should
be
come.
good.
You should come sometime.
Yeah,
City
sure.
of Joy, as we call it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amrita.
Bye.
So, this was an unrehearsed conversation. Fortunately for me, Ankita was a great conversationalist and there were no awkward pauses. Otherwise, I would have wondered what I would say to fill in those gaps. And so she just beautifully fitted in. So sometimes it's very comfortable equation you have with people and they will talk more and you can just give her those leading questions, open-ended questions, establish some common ground, observe some details about people that you can take on. So usually it's best to talk to each other rather than about each other, right? So that is what we would typically like to do in any kind of a conversation. Most often we find that in any conversation, especially women, if I may say so, gender bias, if that sounds, we like talking about people, about emotions and about this more than men who are more maybe detached about these topics. But yeah, they do talk about women, but they talk more about maybe finance, sports and things like that. So it's good to talk about people. There is this warm connection. It heals many a lonely heart, cheers up a lot of souls, and it's a good thing to do. But talking to each other is so much more better than talking about each other. So they say average minds talk about people, and great minds think about events and experiences. So on that note, I'd like to say that conversation is not just an art of saying the right thing at the right time, but also to leave unsaid the wrong thing at the most tempting moment. Get that? So often we ruin relationships by saying the wrong thing at the most tempting moment. So leave that unsaid and speak in such a way that people would love to listen to you, and listen in such a way that people would love to talk to you. Back to you, Toastmasters.